good, everybody? I'm about to talk quick about it. I actually checked out The Rock's performance on SNL Live, and it definitely, I have to agree that it does seem like it has an agenda behind it. Part of what it was on was the most evil invention in the world, and there was a guy that stood up and he had a shrink ray. Then you saw the freeze ray, and if you think about that, it's harnessing two elements that we use on a day-to-day basis for survival, and making them overzealous and destroying what actually is the basis of the standard, what's before, what elements before, let's say, the final element. But then you have The Rock come out and he rolls in a robot. Well, it's a robot that's built to look funny, but as he continues to describe the robot, he made a child molesting robot. Now, they had the laugh effects, and I'm pretty sure people actually thought that was funny, but if you think about it, there's actually nothing funny about the situation. On the other hand, to be more specific, it actually shows you the characteristics of the individuals we have that run Hollywood. Now, I know that America has come a long way, but from what I understand, morals and values are not to be deterred from, even in the sense of it. And we joke about race and many different things, but this was a joke, literally making fun of the children that deal with child molesters on a daily basis. I mean, this is a serious thing, because child molesters and stuff, there are kids that have child molesters that have not been captured because of how rich and powerful they are. And this really does make you think about the rich and powerful world of Hollywood, and how different comments and situations, such as Corey Feldman and other names that have come up over the time, and they spoke about child molesters being overwhelming in Hollywood. It makes you think what humor America has to even think something like this was a joke. I mean, to say this is the evilest thing, yes, I agree. But to act like it doesn't exist in the occupation and forum that these individuals make a living in, that's another question, because a lot of stars have been either silenced or they're just not speaking about the situations they encounter. So this was a very disturbing Saturday Night Live performance, and I'm actually very shocked that not many people have said anything, especially being with the amount of molestations that occur each year in America. So it's pretty crazy that we're looking at a society that finds humor in such childish things. Also, the fact that claiming this is the most evil thing in the world, I fully agree. But at the same time, if you're hanging around individuals with this mindset, you're co-signing the most evil people in the world and laughing about it. To be real, to write humor like this, someone in the room had to be associated with the mindset. Someone who was writing and sitting there on the Saturday Night Live set had to be involved in this type of evil behavior. There's no one that sits around thinking about this type of stuff. There's no type of scenario or situation where you come up thinking about this situation and laughing. So I'm almost certain that someone involved has to be in the situation, and may even be a convicted or registered offender, because there's no way that this type of subject comes up and someone laughs or has humor about it. It's too much. It's too much. There's many things to laugh about. There's many places to go, but when you go to the place where you're laughing about the objectification of a child, or the let's say the abuse or exposing of a child who's not even of age to be exposed to such adult exposure, the laughs stop. Even if we're just awfully talking about a joke, I just didn't like their humor. I mean, I seen specials canceled by Cat Williams and rated R by Dave Chappelle just for them cursing, and just for some of the content they use that may be ghetto and slang. But you're telling me in this situation, Saturday Night Live is perfectly fine for using The Rock to create a child molesting robot? I don't understand where the blurred lines aren't crossed, or I don't get where nobody was violated. I think that they owe the nation an apology, honestly. And it's probably not going to happen because when you have a lot of powerful men behind something or involved in a situation, it gets swept under the rug, which everyone's going to be watching Saturday Night Live next week for the new episode. So, it is to each their own. But from this scenario, I want to clearly say that I understand now and I see the dark humor of Hollywood. And SNL just made it very clear with Dwayne Johnson and how he approached the situation, the most evilest thing in the world, and made a joke out of it. I mean, there are many children whose molestations and even abuse or bodies have not been found, and to this individual, it's a laughing matter that he creates something evil in the world. And the reason it's so disrespectful is because saying that that's the most evilest thing in the world, I mean, let's be real, like there's a lot of grown men that think that way. So there's a lot of evil people in the world then, because we have many stories about stars coming out letting us know that child abuse is a major issue in Hollywood at this time. So that's one of the more disturbing parts, that we know background information about the problems of child molestation, but now Saturday Night Live is making a whole skit joking about the violation and just downright, let's say, hedonist use of an innocent, pure being that has yet to know the evils of this world. And they're being introduced, almost forced into them, to a certain mindset and lifestyle when they're not old enough to make their own decision. They need better guidance and understanding so that they can be better people. And this is the problem that we have with our society, that violence and, let's say, sexual content, it's less about censoring it and more about directing it in the right direction. It's almost like a free-for-all when we look at the TV about things that really shouldn't be out there or wasn't out there when you and I were kids. And now it's destroying the mindset of the youth, causing them to think and feel one way when it may be another way that they should be going and feeling. So it's a huge agenda going on right now, and it's no one unanimous person. It is literally, I feel, the outcome of the many different evils that we have participated in, that we've allowed as Americans, and now it's becoming the very humor in which we get our enjoyment off of, because we can't find a single agreeable topic to put before everyone and have them understand, listen, we need a standard. Like, I get that you believe this, I believe that, but this can't happen and that can't happen. There's no understanding amongst the people. So when you have the clashing of many different cultural beliefs and the clashing of many different preferences, there is no judicial preference that stands sovereign and helps people to gain some type of order. It is literally the beginning and foundation of chaos that is to be the future in which we're looking forward to. If you haven't noticed it yet, everything that's taken as a joke, everything that's condescending, it turns out to be where our nation heads to. It turns out to be the very basis of where our nation begins to rise off of. So with that being said, looking at this skit, it's really not funny, because this very joke is soon going to become your reality, in which maybe not robots and different things, but the many people that go untouched, that participate in this evil lifestyle of molesting children and different things, if they're not brought to justice, they're only going to grow in numbers. They're going to keep violating children and causing their mindsets and physicality to become something that it was never meant to be. And that's what the basis of avoiding anything child molestation related is. Now, there's some type of forgive me if I don't say it right, not that it personally means anything to me, some man-boy love association. See, and that's where these type of organizations find power, and the fact that it's funny for us to see a robot doing it, but it's not funny for us to see a human doing it. You know what I mean? How about we just stop blurring the lines and we just say, child molestation is not funny. Making a joke about it's not funny. Even for you guys to include it in a skit, it's not edgy, it's not hip, it's not the future. It's not funny. because there are people that are still hurting and being violated, sometimes by some of the people laughing about it. They're laughing because they're violating others, and they want to find enjoyment in a lifestyle that they find right and correct to help justify themselves. So I find it very important that we don't take situations like this lightly, and that we begin stepping up when we have things like this. Doesn't matter if it's Saturday Night Live, doesn't matter if it's a YouTuber, doesn't matter who it is. Everyone needs to start stepping up and standing for what's right. That's what's going to help get us on the right path. Hit in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion on this style. Let me know different things that you liked about this skit versus what you didn't like. I didn't like it at all. I snickered at the beginning when the other people were talking, but then when The Rock came on and they just started getting too deep into child molestation, I didn't find that funny. I felt that very grotesque, and I wish the best to them, but you know how I rock. You know how we rock. All rights reserved.